Hey Army! Before you continue watching this video, I want to ask you one thing first. Are you ready? Because what I'm about to tell you today is not just ordinary gossip. This is something that Army has been curious about for a long time. Something that has been kept tightly behind closed doors in their house in Los Angeles. And today, RM and Suga have finally opened everything up. About Jimin. About a moment that shocked every single BTS member. About tears that fell in the middle of the night. So make sure you're sitting comfortably. Grab some tissues if you need to. Because this video is guaranteed to make you smile, feel emotional, and cry hysterically all at the same time. Let's get started. After almost 4 years of hiatus, BTS has finally returned to perform together as a complete 7-member group. RM, Jin, Suga, jhope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook on stage for the very first time. This is not just an ordinary comeback. This is a resurrection that millions of ARMY around the entire world have been waiting for. On March 20th, 2026, BTS released their 5th studio album titled Hybe Rm, and this album immediately sold nearly 4 million copies in just the first day alone. Incredible, right? And the very next day, on March 21st, 2026, they held a free comeback concert at Gwangwon Square in Seoul, attended by more than 260,000 fans and live-streamed directly on Netflix. This was not just a concert. This was history. But behind all that celebration, there was a small story that actually made ARMY far more emotional. A story about what happened behind the scenes, in a room in Los Angeles, in the middle of the night, when Jimin and V cried. Before this massive comeback happened, BTS had to prepare the Hybe Rm album from scratch. And that preparation was done in a very special way. All 7 BTS members locked themselves away for 2 months in Los Angeles to write and record their new songs together. Imagine ARMY. After almost 4 years apart because of mandatory military service, suddenly these 7 people had to live under one roof again, sleeping in the same house, eating together, working together, every single day. Sounds fun, right? But of course, not every moment was beautiful. Because when you live with people who are already like your own siblings after years and years together, small conflicts are inevitable. And that is exactly where the beauty lies. These behind-the-scenes moments were finally captured in the documentary BTS: The Return, which was released on Netflix on March 27, 2026, showing their struggles, laughter, and tears in preparing this album. But there was one story that was not even fully covered in that documentary. A story that only came to light when RM and Suga sat down casually on Epic High's YouTube show, Epic Case, on March 26, 2026. In the latest episode of Epic Case, RM and Suga appeared as guests on the YouTube channel of Korean hip-hop legends, Epic High. Here, they talked about many things, including their life while living together in Los Angeles. And then, Tableau, the host of Epic Case, asked a question that seemed simple but actually opened up a complete Pandora's box. Did you guys ever fight while staying in LA? RM answered honestly right away, of course we did. And this is where everything became incredibly interesting. RM told the story of one particular night when they were deep in a working session. After drinking together, RM, who was feeling tired enough, suggested that they should wrap things up for the night. I said, let's clean up so we can work again tomorrow, said RM. Sounds reasonable, right? But here is what nobody expected. Jimin immediately reacted and said to RM, you can't talk to Taeyong like that. And suddenly V chimed in too. I'm sad too, you know. And then, both BTS members, Jimin and V, started crying. Not small quiet tears, but actually crying. In the middle of the night, in RM's room. Suga, who was also there at the time, was completely confused and immediately asked Jimin, what is the actual problem here? But hilariously, Jimin and V themselves were not entirely sure why they were crying, because they were both already drunk at that point. ARMY, picture this scene. Jimin and V, 2 best friends who have known each other since they were teenagers, crying together in the middle of the night in their friend's room. Drunk, but feeling hurt, but also not quite sure why they felt hurt. This is not a drama. This is real life and the most genuine friendship you will ever see. RM finally described the situation with so much humor. I just asked them to clean up the seats, but suddenly I became the villain of the entire world. They both followed me to my room and kept telling me how sad they were. Can you imagine RM's expression in that moment? Faced with tears of joy, he just wanted to rest, but instead ended up becoming the emotional support for two people sobbing in the middle of the night. And Suga, he who had been sitting back watching everything unfold, finally had to step in and become the peacemaker, trying to understand why Jimin and V were suddenly so full of emotion like that. Now, Army, let's look deeper into this. Why does this story touch us so much? Because this is not just about a funny little argument. This is a reflection of how deeply bonded the BTS members truly are. Think about it for a moment. They had just reunited after almost 4 years apart. For years of going through mandatory military service separately. For years of not being able to perform together. For years of missing each other. And when they were finally together again under one roof, all of those emotions exploded out, even in the most unexpected ways imaginable. The documentary, BTS, The Return, itself shows just how powerful this brotherhood truly is. The film's director said that the main theme of the documentary was not just about reunion and comeback, but also about brotherhood, resilience, and deep human connection. And the story of Jimin crying in the middle of the night is living proof of all of that. Jimin was not crying because RM was cruel. Jimin was crying because he cared so deeply, because he felt something profound. Because after 4 years apart, every single moment together felt precious, and the idea of ending the session felt like losing something he had missed so terribly. In one scene from the documentary, RM even said honestly, "I just hope they take care of us and embrace us a little more." And those words made Jimin, jhope, and V laugh. But they also reveal just how deeply they all truly feel for each other. That is BTS, Army. Behind all the fame, millions of fans, and massive concerts, they are still just 7 young people who love each other with complete sincerity. But wait, Army. The story from Epic Case does not stop there. After discussing the fight in LA, Tableau and 2 Cut threw out a question that instantly turned everything incredibly fun and hilarious. If BTS fought each other for real one-on-one, who would win? And here are the answers that came out of RM and Suga's mouths that had everyone absolutely dying with laughter. RM immediately said, "Jungkook has been boxing for a long time, so I would definitely lose against him." But when it came to Jimin, RM was not so sure. He said, "Jimin has strong core muscles, but Jimin gets stomach aches easily. That is his weakness." Army. RM was literally analyzing Jimin's physical weaknesses for fighting purposes. Faced with tears of joy. This is way too funny. Meanwhile, Suga, who had been observing the entire discussion, finally jumped in too. And Tableau concluded everything wisely. There is a reason why this group has lasted this long. You guys should talk about punching each other, so you don't actually fight for real. A very profound life philosophy from Epic High, isn't it? Faced with tears of joy. But jokes aside, Army, there is one thing we can take away from all of that conversation. BTS can laugh together about their small conflicts. They can tell stories about the moment Jimin and V cried while drunk in the middle of the night, and laugh about it together. They can joke about who is the strongest among them. And that is the sign of a relationship that is healthy, genuine, and completely full of love. Coming back to the bigger picture, Army. All of these behind-the-scenes stories happened in the context of something truly extraordinary. The BTS comeback concert at Gwangwon Square in Seoul on March 21st, 2026 was not just any ordinary concert. It was the largest public concert ever held in South Korea, with an estimated 260,000 spectators filling the area, while 22,000 lucky fans received golden tickets to enter a special zone. On stage that night, Suga spoke to the crowd and explained the meaning behind the album title and the choice of concert location. Meanwhile, RM said that throughout the entire process of making this album, BTS focused on just one thing. We wanted to show who we really are and how we could come back together. And interestingly, even at that historic concert, there was still a very human and deeply moving moment. RM actually performed with an ankle injury he suffered during rehearsal, but he still walked onto that stage and performed, even with choreography that had already been modified for him. Because for RM, for Jimin, for all of BTS, disappointing Army is never an option. Never. Army who are so dearly loved. We have witnessed so many things together today. We saw the funny side of Jimin crying hysterically in the middle of the night over something small that was actually born from an enormous amount of love. We saw Suga calmly and patiently trying to be the mediator, true to the August D character who beneath that cold exterior is always there for his friends without question. We saw RM honestly and humorously telling that story, not embarrassed, not covering it up, but actually proud of that memory because it is part of their journey together. And we saw how the documentary BTS, The Return successfully captured the true essence of BTS, that behind all the pressure, expectations, and the world spotlight, they are still just 7 ordinary human beings who constantly strengthen each other. Jimin did not cry because he was weak. Jimin cried because he feels everything so deeply, because he cares, because that love is real. And is that not exactly what we have always loved about Jimin? And now, with the Hybe Rm album already released and a world tour set to visit 34 countries from April 2026 through March 2027, BTS is ready to bring all of those memories, all of those tears, all of that laughter onto stages all around the world. For you who are in Indonesia, Southeast Asia, or anywhere else on this earth, get ready because BTS is coming. And this time, they arrive stronger, more complete, and more genuine than ever before. So Army, that was the complete story behind the viral moment of RM and Suga revealing the deeply moving story about Jimin on Epic Case. If this video made you emotional, made you smile to yourself, or even made you cry, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And write in the comments below, Team Jimin crying or Team Suga the peacemaker. I am so curious which team you are on. Grinning face with smiling eyes. See you in the next video, Army. Always remember, you are never alone. BTS is always here, and we are always here for you. Purple Heart, Annyeong, Waving Hand.